Hi, passionate Rangers FC fans. Welcome to Rangers Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now, let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. WATP, let's get to the news. Robin Proper, the Dutch center-back whose brief and turbulent stint at Rangers has been the subject of intense chatter across the Scottish football scene, has finally broken his silence, and the words have sent shockwaves through the stands and the corridors of Ibrox. Rangers never paid me what they promised, Proper revealed, a statement that is now rippling across fan forums, social media timelines, and pundit discussions, leaving supporters divided between disbelief and frustration. Proper's journey to Scotland had been framed as a bold move, a chance to carve out his legacy at one of the nation's most storied clubs, but from the very first moment, the narrative seemed destined for controversy. Arriving at Rangers on August 1, 2024, he was met with the usual fanfare and expectation, a foreign talent brought in to strengthen the defensive line. However, that same month, in a debut match against Motherwell, an own goal marred his first appearance, a seemingly unfortunate twist that only added fuel to the gossip and speculation surrounding his tenure. As the weeks unfolded, Proper's presence on the pitch was marked by flashes of promise, but overshadowed by what many now perceive as off-field disappointments, particularly regarding contractual assurances that apparently never materialized, a grievance he has not shied away from discussing. The own goal that Proper scored in that first match was the first hint of a rocky start, a moment that immediately caught the attention of both fans and critics, setting a tone of nervous scrutiny over his performances. In football, a debut mistake can haunt a player, and in Proper's case, it became the cornerstone of a narrative that the media could hardly resist embellishing, with every defensive lapse and every misjudged pass analyzed with increasing intensity. Yet, in the midst of this storm, Proper managed to find redemption of sorts, scoring his first official goal for Rangers on January 2, 2025 in a high-profile 3-0 victory over Celtic, a performance that temporarily quelled some of the criticism. Despite this highlight, the underlying tensions regarding contractual disputes and unmet promises never dissipated, simmering quietly beneath the surface of what appeared to be a standard footballing storyline. Rumors began circulating that the promises made to Proper during his signing were significantly inflated or not honored, an issue that fans had only speculated about until his recent admission. Such revelations have reignited debates about transparency in player contracts, the management of foreign signings, and the responsibility of clubs to uphold professional and financial commitments, especially in leagues as scrutinized as the Scottish Premiership. The narrative surrounding Proper is now as much about off-pitch politics and alleged betrayals as it is about the tackles, passes, and goals that define a defender's career. As news of Proper's statements circulated, it quickly became apparent that this story was far from a simple transfer or a brief tenure. The timing of his exit on July 26, 2025, to rejoin FC 20 adds another layer of intrigue, suggesting a culmination of frustrations and unmet expectations. Fans and analysts are dissecting every word, wondering whether his departure was purely a professional decision or a reaction to personal grievances with Rangers management and financial conduct. Proper, a player who had established himself in the Eredivisie with Heracles Almelo and De Graafschap, had been expected to translate that stability to the Scottish League, but the combination of high-pressure matches, contractual ambiguities, and cultural adjustments seems to have created a combustible environment. The chatter now revolves around how Rangers handled his signing, whether promises made to attract him were realistic, and whether the club's internal policies might have contributed to a scenario that left both player and fans feeling unsettled. In football circles, stories like these often spiral into speculation about boardroom decisions, agent negotiations, and behind-the-scenes dealings that rarely reach the public eye, creating a complex web that fuels rumors for months. In Proper's case, the mixture of on-field moments and off-field disappointments has generated a perfect storm, drawing comparisons with other high-profile exits in recent Scottish football history. The fan response has been swift, ranging from outrage at perceived mismanagement to sympathy for a player who feels he has been wronged. Online platforms have exploded with debates, memes, and heated commentary, with supporters dissecting every statistic, goal, and defensive play to support their perspective. Rangers fans are now torn between defending the club's reputation and acknowledging the claims of a player who was part of their squad for a crucial season. The own goal, once seen as a minor misfortune, has been reframed in light of Proper's comments, becoming symbolic of a larger narrative of disillusionment and frustration. Analysts have started to question whether the club's strategy in signing international talent needs revisiting, with Proper's case serving as a potential cautionary tale about promises made in haste or negotiations conducted without full transparency. Meanwhile, football forums and podcasts speculate endlessly on what might have transpired behind closed doors, considering everything from managerial oversight to contractual loopholes, each theory adding fuel to an already raging fire. Proper's candidness has shattered the usual decorum surrounding football interviews, encouraging a new wave of speculation and rumor-mongering that seems poised to dominate the Scottish football conversation for the foreseeable future. Amidst all this speculation, the perspective from FC 20, his former club, adds a new dimension to the story. 20 supporters have welcomed him back with open arms, interpreting his return as both a professional opportunity and a subtle statement about his experience in Scotland. This narrative, juxtaposing the promise of a stable career in the Netherlands with the apparent disappointments in Scotland, has created a contrast that media outlets are quick to highlight, framing Proper's journey as a tale of expectations versus reality. The focus is no longer solely on performances or statistics. It has expanded into personal narrative, contractual integrity, and the complex human dimensions of professional football. Football, after all, is as much about personalities and relationships as it is about tactics and goals, and Proper's story exemplifies this intersection, prompting debates about player welfare, loyalty, and professional respect. Scottish commentators, while careful not to inflame tensions, have not shied away from addressing the elephant in the room. If a player openly claims he was not paid as promised, what does this imply about the club, its culture, and its operational ethics? The rumor mill now churns with speculation on whether other foreign players have faced similar situations and whether systemic changes are imminent, creating an ongoing narrative that extends well beyond a single transfer. As social media amplified his statement, rival fans seized the opportunity to inject humor, criticism, and pointed observations, transforming Proper's revelation into a viral talking point. Memes juxtaposing his own goal against his later goal against Celtic circulated widely, illustrating a career marked by highs and lows and interpreted by the public through the lens of humor and criticism alike. Yet, beneath the memes, serious discussion persists about the responsibilities of clubs to honor financial commitments and the potential consequences when such promises are not upheld. Journalists and football bloggers speculate on whether Proper might take legal action or simply allow the narrative to simmer as he reintegrates into Dutch football. Meanwhile, Rangers management has remained largely silent, which only intensifies speculation, prompting commentators to question whether silence is a strategy or a misstep. The overall perception of the club among neutral observers and rivals alike has been influenced by this episode, and it highlights the fragile nature of reputation in modern football, where a single statement can ripple across fan bases, media, and corporate interests, affecting perception far beyond the immediate transfer window. The implications of Proper's statement are vast, not only for Rangers, but for the broader footballing community. It underscores the complex relationships between clubs, players, and agents, revealing how financial disputes can intersect with performance, media narratives, and fan perception. Each facet of his tenure, from the own goal debut to the goal against Celtic, from contractual grievances to his eventual return to 20, has been scrutinized, dissected, and debated in a way that few player narratives achieve. This scrutiny reinforces the idea that footballers are not merely athletes but also actors in a larger drama, where public perception, contractual honesty, and personal resilience intertwine. As the rumor mill continues to churn, insiders hint at further revelations, whispers of additional contractual misunderstandings, and debates over managerial decisions, ensuring that Proper's Scottish adventure will remain a topic of discussion long after his departure. The story has evolved from a simple transfer tale into a cautionary narrative about expectations, promises, and the realities of professional football, and it seems destined to occupy both fan forums and pundit panels for months to come, blending scandal, sport, and speculation into a narrative that is as compelling as it is controversial. Proper's return to FC20 has only amplified the whispers and conjecture surrounding his time in Scotland, as fans and pundits alike speculate on what really transpired behind the scenes at Rangers. Supporters of 20 have eagerly embraced him back, framing his return as a story of vindication, as if the Dutch defender has escaped a tumultuous chapter and returned to familiar, welcoming surroundings. Meanwhile, Scottish commentators are still dissecting his remarks, analyzing not only the financial disputes he mentioned, but also the cultural and professional implications of such a public revelation. Rumors abound that Proper's exit was precipitated by a combination of unmet promises, a sense of isolation, and frustration at managerial decisions that may have left him feeling undervalued, despite occasional flashes of brilliance on the pitch. Insider speculation suggests that Rangers' hierarchy may have underestimated the impact of these grievances, allowing tensions to grow to a point where a return to the Eredivisie seemed inevitable. The narrative has now evolved into a complex discussion about player welfare, contractual integrity, and the pressures faced by foreign athletes in high-profile leagues, with Proper's experience serving as a focal point for debate. As the story spreads through social media and fan channels, every detail of his Scottish tenure is being revisited, reinterpreted, and amplified. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Observers in both Scotland and the Netherlands are debating the timing of Proper's statements, noting that they coincide with his move back to 20, a moment that some interpret as carefully calculated, while others see it as an honest outpouring of frustration. Analysts argue that the combination of on-field highs and off-field disappointments creates a compelling narrative, one that feeds directly into the fascination with footballer controversies. Every match he played for Rangers, from the debut own goal to the goal against Celtic, is now examined through the lens of contractual grievance, as if each event were a piece of evidence in a larger saga. Rumors continue to circulate about whether other players at Rangers have quietly experienced similar issues, raising questions about the club's approach to international signings and financial transparency. Football podcasts and online forums buzz with speculation, often amplifying unverified claims, creating a swirl of information where fact and conjecture intertwine. For fans, the story is irresistible. It combines drama, talent, perceived betrayal, and the ultimate return to a familiar setting. In this environment, Proper's narrative transcends the normal footballing storyline, becoming both a cautionary tale and a subject of relentless intrigue that keeps supporters and critics alike talking, dissecting, and debating endlessly. The emotional undertone of Proper's revelation adds another layer to the ongoing discussion, highlighting how personal experiences can shape public perception of clubs and leagues. Fans are particularly sensitive to claims of broken promises, viewing them as an affront not just to the player, but to the sport's integrity. The speculation surrounding Rangers' management decisions intensifies when viewed through this lens, with questions about leadership, negotiation practices, and player treatment dominating discussions. Meanwhile, Proper's professionalism in scoring against Celtic despite ongoing frustrations adds nuance to the narrative, suggesting a player determined to perform despite perceived injustices. The juxtaposition of moments of triumph and periods of discontent feeds the rumor mill, ensuring that every public statement, interview, or social media post is scrutinized for hidden meaning. Analysts point out that such stories resonate because they reveal the human side of football, a game often idealized for skill and spectacle, but deeply affected by personal experience and institutional dynamics. For Rangers, the saga is a potential reputational challenge, forcing the club to balance silence with accountability. Across football communities, the story has generated endless discussion, with speculation evolving rapidly, demonstrating how a single player's candid words can reshape narratives, influence perception, and fuel months of conversation. Behind the scenes, Murmurs suggest that Proper's experience might prompt other players to speak out, either publicly or privately, about perceived grievances, creating a ripple effect across Scottish football and beyond. The concept of contractual transparency, long debated but rarely contested publicly, now finds itself in the spotlight due to Proper's remarks. Legal analysts and former players weigh in on social media, debating whether his statements constitute leverage, cautionary advice, or genuine grievances with potential financial implications. Meanwhile, fan communities dissect the potential motivations of both the player and the club, speculating endlessly on what might have been promised, what was delivered, and how the entire episode will be remembered in future discussions of transfers and player treatment. Podcasts dissect his goals, his defensive lapses, and his demeanor, linking each moment on the field to the larger narrative of frustration, unmet expectations, and eventual escape from a high-pressure environment. The story transcends the typical transfer discussion, touching on ethics, management strategy, and the human cost of professional football, while the rumor mill feeds off every subtle clue, gesture, and statement, amplifying the narrative far beyond what a single player's performance might otherwise generate. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.